New tonight, the city of Escondido is one step closer to regulating its sidewalk vendors. Under this proposal, vendors would be required to get a business license and a city permit to legally operate or face penalties. News 8's Richard Allen is live in Escondido tonight with more on the potential and last-minute changes that were made before the vote. Richard?
And Marcella, that's right. And now already nearly every other city in the county has a permit process in place for sidewalk vendors who sell everything from food to souvenirs to artwork. So this current move to develop one here in Escondido started back in 2022 and is finally moving forward.
And on one hand, you've got people who just want street vending banned entirely. And on the other hand, there's a decent amount of people who think it should just be the Wild West. But I think that this lands kind of in the sweet spot.
Mayor Dane White says this move to create a formal permit process for street vendors would be less restrictive compared to some other local cities. For example, by not requiring vendors to carry insurance. This push to create a uniform system in Escondido centers on safety, for instance, by requiring 18 inches space from the vendor's cart to the street curb, but would also ideally help small-scale entrepreneurs eventually expand their businesses.
Create a pathway for retail vendors to grow into permanent locations.
In a last-minute change, vendors would be allowed to operate from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. in residential areas. They'd also be required to get a state-issued business license along with a city-issued vendor permit. At this point, the fee for that permit's not been set. But under state law, the permit process cannot be used for immigration enforcement or similar purposes.
And so you cannot collect, and we don't propose to collect, any kind of information that includes criminal history or background, immigration or citizenship status, or place of birth.
Among the sticking points tonight, whether or not vendors should be required to wear a photo ID while working. Despite some pushback, the city council kept that requirement in the ordinance.
I don't think it should be removed because, again, it's not a brick and mortar, and I think that ID serves to show that they are in compliance or that they do have the permit.
Vendors who violate the rules would first face a warning. After that, fines would start at $100, followed by a $200 fine and $500 for subsequent violations.
The opportunity to have a permitted, the license with them allows for the potential for enforcement.
And those proposed fines would double for vendors who do not hold a permit. Now, tonight the City Council passed the first draft of this ordinance. Over the coming months, after some community outreach, the ordinance will return to the council for a final vote. And if ultimately passed, this permit process would go into effect in January of next year. Marcella?
Thanks, Richard.